right? Kind of going back to the basketball analogy. One thing we love in the NCAA tournament is a Cinderella story, right? We love when Florida Gulf Coast is running up and down the floor. We love when Steph Curry came out and Davidson started doing some things, when Murray State won a couple games, George Mason getting to the Final Four. We love that, right? And because we love the upset, it's like the David versus Goliath thing. Look at this little school. They're just chucking up some threes, and they're beating big bad Kentucky or big bad Kansas. We don't have that in college football. We're so addicted to this idea of merit in college football that we don't even allow ourselves the room to hope for a Cinderella story. Now, we had it a little bit in the bowl era. Like, you'd get the Sugar Bowl, and Hawaii would have a crazy year, and they would make it, and you'd get some people kind of rooting for it. But then at the same time, you would get a lot of people who were kind of rooting for them to get crushed to prove that they were fraudulent. The term frauds and fraudulent gets used a lot in college football. So let's talk about two teams in specifically who are in the top 25 right now that haven't really played an amazing schedule. And Indiana, we already talked about, and Tulane in the American Conference. When you think of college football, I guarantee you Tulane and Indiana are not two teams that you're thinking of. And they would have been, if they both happened to make it in. Boise State kind of qualifies like this a little bit, but Boise has a little bit of an established reputation. They could have been the party crashers, the Cinderella stories, and then if you were to envision a like Indiana getting an SEC champion and really kind of putting them down to the wire, that's fascinating. And if they win, it's awesome because you end up getting a Cinderella story in the college football playoff, and if they lose, then you say, hey, this team was actually really good is in terms of the powerful SEC team. And they would be embraced in college basketball, but they're not in football because they're like, oh, they played nobody. They don't have the same athletes and talent as this. And it's almost like in football, we're so transfixed on the domination angle and kind of totally disregarding the good story angle, which is what Indiana is. They get Kirk Cignetti, a guy who was at James Madison, who had done some really good things, and he takes this Indiana program that's never been good, and all of a sudden they're winning games. That should be exciting. Instead, we're looking to discredit it. And no disrespect to people who are discrediting it and want to see the best team win. But I just think that we should probably be able to lean into this Cinderella story thing a little bit more.